So, welcome to another Millennial in Crisis podcast. This is crisis number 2, my body image and my extreme weight loss. So, in today's run through of the episode, I would like to start off with this new thing. I'm going to call it the check in. Okay. So, every week we're going to go ahead and check in, and mostly it's going to be me checking in with myself, but also to remind you to check in with yourself. Okay. So, let's see, where are we at? So, today is Thursday, October 13th. The podcast has just been released about 2 days ago, and let's check in of how I'm feeling about that. It was a very nerve-wracking experience, but so far it's been great. The feedback has been amazing. I appreciate the comments, the messages, the shares, the kind words. It does mean a lot to me, just because it's really nice. I've put in a lot of work and love into this, and so it's really good that it's well received. And the suggestions, they're also going to come in. So now we're trying a different setup, different lighting and stuff like that. Hopefully the intro and the outro won't blow your ears out this week. And I'll make sure I get that sorted, guys. So this week, how has this week been for me? Actually, last week was very rough keeping up the routine. I was still doing the miracle morning, but I must admit, some days I did shorten my meditations. Like I wasn't committed. But we have refocused this week. We've made it to the gym every day. Our savers are flowing. So we're very happy about that. The universe did try to test us this week. My husband's car got broken into, which creates all sort of unexpected series of unfortunate events. But I think I am very proud of us because we're handling that really well. We only broke down for like an hour or two instead of like 3 days in a row. So progress, not perfection. That's what we're here for. So that's going to get resolved, right? When that happened, we could have been like, damn. And we were really bummed because it was an unexpected expense. What's going to happen with our cars, insurance, the premium going to go. It's all sorts of things that like you just start spiraling. And if you're someone like me and my husband, we love to spiral. But that's getting taken care of. And, we've done every single thing that we can do. We have done. It's out of our hands now. So we're going to move on to the next thing while that gets handled by someone else. We'll let someone else worry about that. Okay? So I am feeling a bit more anxious this week, but we're managing. Again, like I said last week, I am content, not happy. Okay? So I'm content because now when I have these situations arise, like I'm able to handle them better. So I'm very content. I'm happy about that. I'm happy that I have those tools available to me. So again, if you want to share with me how, maybe discovered a new technique or anything like that, you're more than welcome to reach out to me via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. What else am I on? You can also send me an email via anothermillennialincrisis@gmail.com, or leave a comment on the YouTube section as well. I want to hear from you. Are you trying anything new? Is there anything that you think I should try that you don't want to try? Because that's what this whole point is about. Like, I want to be able to do things that you're like, you know what? I've been wanting to do keto for 30 days, but like, girl, I can't. Like, why don't you do it? And I've already done that, but it wasn't recorded, so maybe I'll take another 30-day challenge. I'm actually mostly kind of keto, but we'll get to that, right? That's what this whole episode is about. But actually, before I get started with this episode, I do have a disclaimer. This is going to be kind of like a summary run through of my, I guess, not necessarily the weight loss journey, but the obesity journey, right? There's so many different things. I could have a whole podcast on my weight loss alone, which if you're interested, let me know. But at least, no, I think when I was thinking about talking about my body image and planning, the episodes and things like that, I really think that this is one of the topics that maybe later on I can create a series on, maybe dedicate a month where I'm going to have back-to-back episodes where it's going to be all about my weight loss and how I've managed things, the problems that I've had to face in more detail, which I'm going to discuss in this episode. But if there's anything that you want me to discuss in more detail, like how did I go with my gastric sleeve? Why did I choose a gastric sleeve over a bypass or a balloon or all these other surgeries that are out there? How did I come to that decision? Did I feel pressure? Do I feel guilty? All these things, the emotions that come with it, especially as a Latina woman and someone who was severely obese. I'm talking to you, I was close to 400 pounds. And I am half of that now. So it's a great time. Do you want to talk to the podcast people? What do you want to say? You just want to cuddle? Okay. Well, it seems like we have a cuddle buddy here, which is great because Rue doesn't like to cuddle. So I'm very, very happy about this. I can just we're going to be here, and I'm sorry if you hear him breathing. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. That's my child. So, but okay, but you also got to let mama work. All right. Okay. All right. Well, that lasted a whole of 2 seconds. But I will take it, Rue. Thank you for giving me some love. I appreciate you. So, anyways, as I was saying, so now I'm half of that. But it took, I've been consistently working on my weight loss for the last 4 years. So don't think that this was a quick turnaround. This bitch got weight loss surgery and all of a sudden she's there. No, and I'm still, sorry. I have a cat. He's a cat. RuPaul. For those of you that are listening to this on audio only feature, you are missing my dog behind me, currently licking my decoration. But he likes to go on the couch, I don't know, backing, I guess is what it's called. It's what cats would walk on. And I constantly think that Rue's a cat because he does that all the time. And I have encountered very few dogs that do that. But he's very interested. Can you not ruin this? Everything is planned here, son. Child. RuPaul. Please. Sorry, we're going to have to cut here because I need to take care of this kid, okay? Give me one moment. Okay, so we're going to try and get back to this. Sorry about that. So where was I? Yeah, so I was almost 400 pounds. And I don't feel comfortable discussing my weight. Mostly because I don't like people identifying themselves with a number, because for me it was very damaging, and this is something that I'm trying to work through. So I don't even weigh myself that often. I try to weigh myself, I think maybe, especially when I'm depressed, I super stay away from the scale just because it's what has worked for me to keep most of my sanity. But let's go ahead and take a look back. So here's the thing. Growing up, I was never skinny. I don't think even when I was born. I would have to ask my mom and ask her how much I weighed, but I think I was already overweight when I was born. And so it just happened that I don't know. I was just, is there a point in trying to discover what got me to my overweightness? It could have been a myriad of things, actually. So I grew up in a single mother household. So my mom was, always working and maybe not on top of watching what I ate, or maybe not giving me the most nutritious food because it had to be quick and easy because she had a full schedule. As a single mother with 2 children, I totally understand. I don't think I've ever even thought about blaming my mom for my weight gain. I just don't think that that's where the problem was. Because it wasn't she was, shoving down food and constantly giving me junk food. This was something that I think maybe because of the way that I grew up, I had lots of autonomy. I've always had a lot of autonomy in my life, that there was no one to stop me if I reached for, that extra plate of food. But after surgery, I realized that it was deeper than that. Okay, so growing up, I just kept increasingly gaining weight. But I don't think I ever felt inconvenienced by it until later. But growing up for me, it was just yeah, I'm a bit fat, and so what? If you ask the people that I grew up around, I was always super involved and always carried myself with a sense of confidence. I think in the stereotypical sense, and maybe if you've never been fat, you don't get it, but I feel the stereotype of the fat woman specifically is that she must be super depressed. She must hate herself, her body. If she has any sort of confidence in her body, she must be fucking crazy. Because how dare you love yourself being that size, having and I was never those things. Growing up, I always, and I think this is why it took me forever to lose the weight. It was because it was never a big inconvenience to me. To me, I was living a full life and doing whatever I wanted. for a very long time. I'm telling you, I got this surgery, I was 27, I'm about to be 30. So, like, really. And it wasn't because I didn't have the tools beforehand. My mom went out of her way to pay me, 24-hour fitness training, spend lots of money. Lots of money trying to get me better. I did like weight loss, but I just don't think that my mind was ready for it. That was not my priority, and that's what it came down to. My priority was going to school, getting good grades, making sure I got into like the schools I wanted, make sure I was having fun. And I was part of everything. I mean, I did everything as an overweight person. So like those limitations I do think that are very personal and self-imposed. Obviously society has a pressure on it, and this is why this podcast is happening, because I have to not care what people think. If I sit down and try to consider everyone's opinions about everything, I would do absolutely nothing and be crippled here on this couch. So even the clothes that I wear, I've met multiple people that are like, "Oh my God, I don't know how you can wear that shirt," or like, "Oh, you're so brave for wearing that shirt with those arms." I'm like, listen, why would I stop myself? There's only a couple things I can control in this situation, right? One, I'm wearing this shirt because I really like this shirt. Whatever this shirt is, it could be this one. I know people wouldn't wear this because they're like, "Oh my God, my arm is showing, there's too much hanging." Well, listen, I've lost almost 200 pounds. There's going to be shit hanging everywhere. And I'm not going to get surgery until many years from now, hopefully. So what am I going to do? Not wear the cute shirt that I want and just be waiting until that whenever happens? And then by that time, hey, that shirt's not trending anymore or whatever. I decided that I wanted to stop putting my life on hold. And I think I've always had that mentality because I've been like, and it doesn't come from a healthy place, okay? It comes from severe daddy issues and like trying to prove myself. Again, the topics just keep flowing. So trust me, I'm gonna have content for this podcast for a long time. So, um, anyways, where was I? Oh my God, I rant and I get lost. This is totally COVID brain. If anybody else has suffered from this, it has happened to me since I got COVID in 2020. Mid sentence, I just lose my train of thought, which is not good when you're doing a podcast. But let's get back to it. Okay, so I was talking about how I didn't want to stop myself. So I always receive these comments that were like, "Oh my God, you're so brave for wearing that," or you're like, "Oh my God, you're so confident," or "Oh my God, I can't believe you did that. You're wearing," like, I was those comments. While many people sometimes thought, and even my friends are like, they're complimenting, to me it was like, am I not supposed to feel this way? And it wasn't because like, "Oh my God, I love my body," and this is like, no. It wasn't any like false reality in my head thinking that I had the most healthiest body. It was just that it wasn't a priority as a hindrance. I did not put it as like the one stopping block of stopping me from living my life. Okay. This is like why I tried all sorts of things. I academically, I was always pretty strong. I can say, I hold my ground when it comes to the smarts with this very good looking English. And yes, I do poke fun of myself, okay? It's fine. Um but I think I went through all the phases. I mean, I did it all. I did band, orchestra, mariachi, music theater, dance. I sang, I danced, I acted. I even in college, I did the vagina monologues, and I really, really, if you ladies are watching this, that I will always cherish those times. Okay, doing the vagina monologues was always really, really fun. Um, but I always like to try new things, and it was like somehow my weight should have stopped me from doing those things. This is why like we're surprised that Liz so famous. No, she gets it. She gets it that like I have a bomb ass voice, and like my weight is not gonna determine or hinder that talent. Accept it, okay? So what I'm selling you, like for example, the product that she's selling, she's not selling you sexiness. I mean, now she is, but she was selling you her voice. So what the fuck did it matter what she looked like? And sorry for my French, but like I get mad about these things because it's this repetitive narrative that we see everywhere about how fat women are supposed to feel. And I wonder if there's any fat women actually saying, "Hey, that's not how we feel." Because I know I'm not the only one that's like, sorry, but weight loss is not my priority right now. Now it is, but like back then it wasn't. And this is me as like a teenager. Um, but I do have some very dark moments brought on because of my obesity. Okay, so I remember clearly when I hit 192 pounds at the age of 12. That's a lot of fucking pounds for a 12-year-old, okay? And I remember like the doctor saying, telling my mom, being like, you really have to watch, and being like very stern at her. And I felt really guilty that he was like getting at my mom for it. And so I think that's why it like really marked me. And when I was, you know, double that amount now, I, when I hit that weight after my weight loss, I was like, oh my God, I have not weighed this in 15 years, which is wild. Okay. But what I'm saying is, I don't feel like I fit the stereotypical mold to the point where when I got VSG, which is a gastric sleeve surgery that I got, I had even my family members, my tias, were like, Chantal, but like, why? Because I told nobody, okay? When I got my gastric sleeve surgery, it was over a weekend. It was my husband and I and my mom, my best friend, and my cousin. And I was just like, hey guys, this is happening this weekend. This is where I'm going to be. You guys can come over and see me. But that was it. Like, nobody else knew. Nobody else knew anything. That's the thing about me. I love just like doing Beyonce drops, or like Kylie Jenner drops, except I'm not dropping a child, I swear. But I like to keep a lot of my plans very private because I know that they tend to be kind of like out there, like this podcast. I understand that like a lot of my family doesn't understand what's going on, or that Josh's family might not get it, but that's fine. That's why I keep them quiet, because I don't need those limiting beliefs in my aura, okay? If you don't think I'm going to succeed, keep those comments to yourself. I don't need to hear them. They're not useful to me. Like, that's not where I'm dedicating my energy. Sorry, I'm not giving you the time of day. Okay? I get to determine if this is going to succeed or not. We'll keep trying. Anyways, there's my rant. Sorry, I have a lot of feelings this week. But let's see. So I remember that was very impactful. The other thing that piled on was it's like I said, I always love doing things, and so these were the things where like starting to limit my weight. My weight was gonna start to limit doing things for me. So now I've always loved roller coasters. I stayed away from theme parks for about 10 years just because I didn't want to do the walk of shame. And if you've never experienced the walk of shame, is when you've done the 2 hours of line to get on a ride, like at a theme park, roller coaster ride. You get on, and then they're unable to buckle you. And sometimes you even have 2-3 people trying to push down the bars, and it won't work, and everybody's looking, and you're just gonna have to do that walk of shame, and you get, the fast pass to the next ride because of as like a little compensation prize, but you don't even use the fast pass for the next ride because you're too ashamed or embarrassed to even try and get on another ride. Just me. What were other things? When I started traveling. So I started traveling at 14, I want to say. I don't know. Dates are fuzzy now. But basically, I was in my teens and I started traveling by myself, and I needed seatbelt extensions in the plane. It was like my first time being out of the country in that manner, and I needed a seatbelt extender, and it was so embarrassing. So embarrassing, because I was just like, I'm supposed to be like this teen, and I'm supposed to be, teens are cool. You're supposed to be cool, or at least awkward, but I was just fat. And, well, no, I wasn't just fat, but like during that specific moment of me sitting on a plane, my whole identity was that I was fat and needed a seatbelt extender. But even then, I was able to push it down. I went and traveled. I probably got on 20 more planes after that. And it was still like, oh, well, it's cool. They have a seatbelt extender. They make my life comfortable. It's fine. I stopped giving a fuck. Again, losing weight was not my priority at this time. Then I went to college. And when I went to college, oh my God, I had the most fun. Hey, at 18, I moved to London, met all these cool people, learned these cool things, and just like the world was, I could just grab it. It was amazing. And again, losing weight was not my priority. Now, I know for a lot of people, maybe like this point would have been the point that you're like, Chantal, really, you're not going to lose weight right now? Like, you're about to go to Europe and like meet all these people and specifically for my Latina mom, was like, hey, maybe there's a marido right there, the husband. I didn't care. I was going to go learn. I was going to go party and try new things. And that's exactly what I did. I had so much fun. So much fun. Um, I lived, I laughed, I loved. It was amazing. And I totally recommend that at least once in your life, you travel outside of your area, even if it's just to another state. Because trust me, even getting into Arizona will teach you a couple things. But this wasn't, and I could have been influenced really in London. Like, I was like, oh, I don't see a lot of people that look like me. First of all, she Mexican. She has an accent. She's fat. Like, there was only one thing out of those probably that I could control, which was my weight, and I was choosing not to. And I didn't have to. Trust me, I did not have to. The way that I carried myself, like, I still have friends there that, like, I always thought of myself more than my weight. I did not let my weight be my identity forefront. It wasn't what carried me forward. What carried me forward was, hey, I'm this woman who comes from a low income family in the border, first generation college student. Like, let me prove myself and let me show you of what I can bring to the table because of my background, and that I'm so determined that I can compete with all of y'all in here. That was my focus when I was down in London, and to have fun and, try new things. But that was the mindset that carried me, because if I led with what I thought about my body, or if I led with those negative thoughts, I think that I would have taken over and would have stopped me from living. And the only reason why I say that is because I know people that, unfortunately, they determine their whole identity and existence based on their weight, which is extremely sad to me, because you're more than your weight. You're more than, a number on a scale, or the pants that you can fit on, or the shirt that you can wear. I'm not saying that your weight doesn't matter. I'm not telling you that, hey, it's okay that you're overweight. Like, no. I'm not saying that, because I do think that we need to be healthy. And unfortunately, for a lot of us that love food and just don't care for losing weight, weight is an extreme factor when it comes to being healthy. But now, do your research and eat the proper things. Don't just be skinny to be skinny and be, like, really sick. Okay. So we got to focus on nutrition and actually being healthy, whatever that looks like for you, but I just think that we do need to be realistic. And a 400-pound body was not going to be a healthy look for me. Not a look that you can see, but like a look that I can feel. So, just that's the message here. I don't say, don't make it your sole existence or your whole identity, but watch yourself. Take care of yourself. This is what we're here for, okay? If you want to live a little longer and do more things, take care of yourself. That's all I'm saying. So, again, I came back from London, and then I got super depressed, and then I really didn't care. And so I just kept eating and eating and eating. I think that when I took this seriously about, like, starting to lose weight, I was probably, I don't know, like, okay, let's get real here. The highest weight that I saw on the scale was 368 pounds. But by this time, I had already lost weight. I don't know how much, because I could not weigh myself at my heaviest. I could never bring myself to that. So if on the outside you say that I was confident, trust me, I still struggle with it. It's just not a priority. It's not a priority, but it doesn't mean that, like, hey, when I'm up at 3 a.m, do I think about my body? Or if I, spend too much time looking at myself in the mirror, picking all the things, sketching myself with, like, how I want the doctor to cut me up. Like, I mean, we all go through it. I'm just saying, maybe in the list of priorities, decide how it can affect your life, because I don't think it's worth it to, like, define your whole identity on your weight. Again, I might be redundant, but I just really want to get this message across. If there's anything that I can get across, it's that. Okay, so when did this all start? I think, like, in 2015, I was living in Tijuana with my aunt at the time. And we'll get to all the details of where I come from. But basically, long story short, I grew up in San Isidro, which is the border town between Tijuana, Mexico, and San Isidro, California. And I grew up in a community where it's amazing. I love my community. I love that, like, the culture is so specific to the place that when I tell this to outsiders, they're like, "You do what?" It's like it was super normal for a lot of the people that I went to school with for them to come from Mexico every day and cross the border over because they were US citizens, but living in the US is really expensive. And sometimes, their parents weren't able to come over, and so whatever the reason was, it was just such a unique experience. Spanglish is like our thing, we speak English and Spanish, and my friends, I can go back and forth. It's amazing. It's great. I got to experience what living in a first world country and a third world country is, although I don't believe in the term third world country, and we'll get to that too at some point. For all my sociologists out there, globalism and all that fun stuff. But so that alone itself, I mean, there was so many factors that affected like my weight gain. I mean, as a Latina, our food, like Mexican food, it can be healthy, but the way that I grew up, it was not. Okay, like but it's delicious, right? And you can't just, like, how was I gonna say no to my grandma when she gave me an extra plate of food? Now I know how to control myself, but back then I was like, nope, And then I don't know if it happened to you, but my mom grew up having 12 siblings and family unable to meet their needs. So, I always grew up with that, like, don't waste any food and make sure you clean up your plate. And we didn't have portion sizing. It was like, here's boom, 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 and eat it all. And so those are different things that are cultural things. Like I say, I can't just blame my mom for it. I can't just blame myself. I have to look at all these factors that affected me and the choices that I decided to make. So it's a very, very interesting look. Like I said, I can make a whole series about this. So let's see. I come back from school, and then I'm living in Tijuana. And at this time, my cousin and I start working out. My cousin's 10 years younger than me, okay? So she's like, I don't know, 15, 13, not even 15, I think. She's probably 12, 13 years old. But she's my workout buddy. She's like my little sister. And I get my eating under control, and I start losing weight. And so after I lose this weight is when I weigh myself, and I'm at 386. So depressing, of course. When I saw that number, it was like, oh, damn, like this has really gotten out of hand. And that's when I was like, I really got to get my shit together. I think it still took probably 2 more years. Let's see. I got my surgery in 2019. I started doing really hardcore work in 2018. A year before my surgery is when I started really, really going at it. I decided, hey, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to fully commit. I'm going to get an instructor. I'm going to get my gym membership. It was April of 2018. Now I remember. And I just committed. So for me, I think I always need accountability, but I need outside accountability. So for me, working out, I love working out, but I love doing it by myself or with an instructor. I don't like to work out with family. I don't like to work out with friends. I will do it to start you off. I am down. Hey, if you're in the area and you're like, hey, Chantal, can you help me out get started? Yes, I will be with you and guide you through things. But like, please don't think that I'm going to commit to full term. I'm sorry. I am not your workout buddy. That's just the way I am. It's not to be mean or anything. It's just the way that I prefer, because exercising for me is very personal. I don't like to have anybody next to me trying to compare themselves to me or me comparing them to them. I don't need those influences while I'm working out. And also, it's very mental, and it's just a personal thing. Like, if I'm going to look a mess and look like I'm going to fart when I'm deadlifting, I want to be the only one that's like there to see it. Like all these other strangers, who cares? But I don't know. And I've tried it before. I've tried to work out with my husband. It's cute and all, but I'm like, you know what? I think I prefer, like, we can go to the gym together, but like, I'll be here and you'll be there, and I'll see you in 2 hours, and like, great, we worked out together. But I'll join you for a hike. I'll join you for a spin class. I'll join you for yoga. Just, it's not going to be long term. And I'm telling you that right now. That's just me. Now let's see, my relationship with food. Let's get to the good part here. I actually didn't realize this until after my surgery. So this was after 2019, but in 20, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm going to let you guys know that I burp a lot because of my surgery. So bear with. Where was I? So, okay, yes. So, yeah, it was 2018 when I started like, okay, I'm going to, do this. So I started doing keto. I started doing intermittent fasting. I did portion control. I was drinking a gallon a day of water, and that like really helped me out. I think that was like that was the formula that I found worked for me a year before my surgery. I was doing mostly keto. I was doing lazy keto even. Like I wasn't even really that strict. I just knew like major things that like I couldn't have, and so that was what I did. But I did do the fasting. I started with I started really slow. I started with like an 8-12, 16-8, an 18-6, and a 24. If you don't know what intermittent fasting is and what these numbers mean, basically you fast for a certain amount of hours and then you have an eating window. In this eating window, you're going to consume what you would have consumed the whole day, but you're just going to consume it within those hours. And what this is supposed to limit is limit the amount of time that your metabolism is like actively burning stuff. I mean, it's everywhere. There's probably way so many resources that could explain this better. But that's what intermittent fasting is. So for me, I would start off with, because I wanted to start slow, so I started with like doing 12 hours on, 12 hours off. So from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., I wouldn't eat a single thing. And then from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., that was my eating window. The point is to get to at least a 16-8, which is usually where people start. You fast for 16 hours, and then you eat within an 8-hour window. So the way that I would do it because of my schedule is I think I stopped eating at 9. 9 to 9, that was 12. And then 4 hours after that, it was 3 to 1. It was 1 p.m. So if I stopped eating at 9 p.m., at 1 p.m. of the next day, I could start eating. So from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m., that was my eating window. That's where I had lunch, breakfast, dinner, or the one meal a day, depending on the type of intermittent fasting that you wanted to do. There's all sorts of schedules and formulas out there. If you're interested in that, please do your research. Make sure you're healthy enough to be able to stand this. Please don't try and do this if you, for example, you're diabetic, because your sugar levels could be impacted. But again, seek professional help for that. Don't get that information from me. Please do your own research. And then when it comes to the keto, so keto is where you attempt to eliminate the consumption of carbs, just so that you don't use that fat, basically. Something like that. Basically, less carbs equals less sugar, less fat. Protein, higher protein, you have more energy. You're just being more nutritious. So that, and again, do your research. Please do not believe that everything that I'm saying about these things is correct and or true. But from the literature that I read is what I was doing. And it really worked out for me. So mostly when I was doing keto, it's like no tortilla, no bread, no rice, try the alternative grains. But it taught me a lot, and I learned how to use the air fryer. Like, I am the air fryer queen. If you come to my house, 90% of the time, our meal has been air fried. And I'm also the fish queen. Now I eat a lot of fish. So yeah. So that's when I got really into it. Then after a year, I had lost about, I want to say like 85 pounds. And in August of that following year, I hit a plateau. I was like, oh my God, there's nothing I can do. Like, I felt like I was really stuck. I was changing my diet. I was trying to change my schedules. I was trying to tweak things. I was trying to work out more, work out less, trying to see what was going to work out for me to get me to push over that plateau. Now, at this time, what was different about this time and why I was able to commit for so long was that weight loss had now become a priority. In 2018 is when I made it a priority. And this is why. It was because my weight was stopping me from doing things that I wanted to do. So now I was putting myself in my own way, right? Like I discussed earlier, I can ignore what everybody's thinking about this podcast, about my weight loss, about my life. I have such good a filter for that BS. I just don't pay no mind. I pay no attention. I give it no energy. I don't fight with you. I don't try to prove you wrong. I don't, I just let you be. You know, I hope you're fine. I hope you're working on yourself too. Like, have a good life. I genuinely do not care for the negative vibes. But this time around, I was putting myself in my own way. And that was what I didn't like. I was like, Chantal, you're better than that. You're better than that. Like, you are stopping yourself from living your best life. What meant for me my best life at this point was I wanted to travel more. And I wanted to feel comfortable traveling. Because now it wasn't only about me. It was about bringing in who then was my boyfriend. But I was like, oh, I'm going to have trouble with him and he's going to have to like see the seatbelt extender. Or, hey, he wants to go to a theme park and I have to like come up with excuses of why I can't go because I do not want to do the walk of shame. Embarrassing, right? And I also really, so I think since I was like 15, because I remember asking my mom during my quinceañera, I didn't want a quinceañera and I was like, you can pay me a trip to Europe or I can jump off a plane. I don't need a quinceañera, but I did. And it was 350 people and it was an amazing party. Again, content for later. Whoops. I almost died, guys. Oh my God. But anyways, I really wanted to jump off a plane. And at this point, Josh had told me that he was down to do it with me, my husband. I was like, oh my God, yes. Like, I have everything. Everything's lined up. Like, now I can pay for my own things. And I have someone that's down to do this thing with me because I love doing things by myself. And I'm always down to do it by myself. But it's also great to share things, you know, with other people, especially those of ones you love. And like sharing those things with Josh when it's like thrill seeking things, it's so amazing because he gets it. He gets it. Like, this is why we're swinging off, you know, 100-story buildings in Amsterdam, why we jump off planes, why, you know, we go to very sketchy Airbnbs and, you know, get married in Mexico. Like, it's just, it's fine. It's fine. He gets it. So I had come to this thing where I was just like, no, Chantal. You are in charge and like, you're a badass. And look at all the stuff that you've done in your life and you're telling me you cannot take control of your weight. That was where my mindset was at. But again, it was a year after and I felt like I had put in a lot of work to lose these 35 pounds and I was so damn proud of myself. But I could not waste another second putting in this amount of effort to this goal that wasn't getting to me fast enough. And at this point, I hit like a crossroad where I had known about VSG because family members have gotten it done, friends have gotten it done, and people kept telling me like, hey, why don't you try, you know, have you looked into it? And I was just like, no, like I was one of those people that I was like, I don't want surgery. I want to do this by myself. Like, I know I can do it, right? I was totally about that. I was the one that thought, hey, surgery is cheating. Like, you know, you don't have to work as hard. Boy, was I wrong. Now I laugh about how foolish those thoughts were. But, you know, surgery, again, I can have a podcast just on surgery alone. But I remember the time because I had lost that much weight. I was already having loose skin. So I remember I was looking on Instagram and I was looking at like surgeons who would do skin removal because, again, I think I've been visualizing for years now without knowing what it was. So I just wanted to make sure that like I knew I was going to get to that goal and I was going to need this doctor. So I was going to find the doctor and had him on my feed constantly. I saw his surgeries every day and I was like, he's going to do me like that. Like, I'm going to end up looking like Barbie. And I still have faith. I still follow him. Okay. Dr. Galvez, you are going to make me look as hot as all those other women. And this is a surgeon that focuses on extreme weight loss reconstruction because it's not the same to do a BBL or a mummy makeover on a person who wasn't extremely overweight than it is because we need muscle repair. We need like sometimes 360 incisions. It's a lot. But anyways, and at this point, I was tired. I was tired of working so damn hard. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna look. So, anyways, I found the surgeon that I wanted, Dr. Galvez, and then I was looking him up, and one link led to another. And it's just that the hospital had this like very high rated VSG surgeon in the same practice. And then I was like, oh my god, like, is this a sign? I'm a true believer in signs. I think things happen for a reason. You know, that's my vibe. It doesn't make it easier. I still think like I still have thoughts of anger when people die and bad things happen in the world. I still have those emotions, but later on, I'll know there's going to be a lesson somewhere in there. But anyways, so getting back to this, how I got to the surgery. So I found him, and then at this point, I was really depressed because I felt like I was trying so hard and I just didn't lose any more weight. So I sat down with Josh and I said, hey, I'm having these thoughts. What do you think? Like, I've been trying for so long. I wanted to bounce off ideas because I needed a soundboard. I always need a soundboard because if you let me run with my ideas, I can do amazing things, but I can also get myself into trouble. So, I wanted to like see what he thought. And one thing that I'm always going to be grateful for and why I have the best husband for me is because weight wasn't ever a conversation or like it wasn't anything that he made me like self-conscious about. Never, never. He was like, if you think this is going to make you happier, go ahead. Make sure you're doing it for yourself. If you want to work longer, like I'll be here to support you either way. Like it doesn't matter to me. He's like, I want to make sure that you're doing something that you want for yourself. And that has been the motto of our relationship. He's like, as long as it makes you happy and we're not hurting anybody, go live your life. And this is why this is happening. So, this is just another episode. Shout out to my husband for being so amazing. But we're not making the wifey vibe the only vibe in this podcast. Okay, we're more than that. So that happened in late August. And the next week I scheduled a consultation with the surgeon and I did get my surgery in Tijuana. Great, amazing surgeon. And we went to the consult, fully bilingual staff. It was going to cost me less to have a full-on like private practice service out there than it was going to be for me to pay my copay here with insurance to get the same thing done. And while here was going to take me like 3 months of going to classes and things like that, in 3 weeks I was able to get my surgery over there. I didn't have any pre-existing conditions when I got my surgery besides being overweight. So, and my mental health issues. But I mean pre-existing that could have like hindered or made recovery more complicated. So I didn't have any ulcers. I didn't have diabetes. I did not have high blood pressure. I did not have, what other things come with weight stuff? I'm trying to think, like any heart issues, anything that would have been like extremely dangerous for me. So for me, I had a super easy recovery. Actually, my surgery journey was in and out in 2 days, and I could have honestly gotten back to work on the third day. But I remember my surgeon telling me, he's like, give yourself 2 weeks to just get used to your new lifestyle. And I was not ready. Gastric sleeve surgery is a life-changing thing that happens immediately. I'm telling you, you go in there and before the surgery, you can eat your 4 tacos. After surgery, you're lucky if you can have 4 tiny sips of water. It is very complicated, and I'll go into further detail. I can't go into detail about surgery in this episode because we are never going to finish the episode. If that's what happens. It just won't happen. This episode is going to last 20 hours. Okay? But basically the point is, I decided to have gastric sleeve surgery. The recovery process itself physically was uneventful. It went pretty smoothly for me. Now the mental health part, that was challenging. And I'm so glad that in our consult I asked all those questions and that the surgeon was super honest with Josh and was like, you know what? She's going to go through a lot of different emotions. You're going to have to be super patient. Just know that she's going to go through a hormone imbalance. But in 3 months, she'll be good. Like, she's going to be back to herself and she's going to lose all this weight. And you're going to see the changes immediately. The body's going to do what it's going to do. The first year is like honeymoon phase. Okay. I don't even have to eat right. I just have to like exist and I'm going to lose the weight. I'm on year 3, guys. And I had a weight gain this last summer, which is so fucking upsetting. And I knew it because I was depressed, and I knew it was because I didn't take care of myself. I know exactly where I went wrong. I'm not blaming anybody but myself. I know I let myself go. So this is why I'm working so damn hard, because I did not put myself under to do a regain. And this is exactly what my surgeon told me. He said, I'm not going to measure success until 5 years after. You come to me 5 years after your surgery, tell me you've maintained your weight loss, and I'll count that as a success. Because the first couple of years are honeymoon phase. Okay? And my stomach, if I eat the wrong things, I can always stretch it out again. They took 80% of my stomach out. That 20% can stretch back up. So VSG is just a tool. If you don't use the tool right, it can break you. If you use the tool right, you live an amazing life. And my weight loss, the reason why I think that saying that my weight loss surgery gave me an amazing life, it wasn't because it gave me the hot body. Trust me, I still have a lot of work to do. Okay. Your girl is still overweight. That's fine. At least I'm not where I was before. First of all, I'm very grateful of how far I've come. And I keep working hard on it. There's so many things that I can do now that I wasn't able to do, or that I wasn't willing to do because I knew my weight would have been a thing. And now I'm like, you need me to lose 50 pounds? Okay, I'll do that if I need, like guys, I cycle now for 55 minutes nonstop. I'm on a cycling, and I am not like the one that's half-assing this shit. No. I'm leading the class. I'm the one that the instructor is like, look at her, she's pushing. And I'm like, yes, I am. Okay, like I'm the one that you want to see, not because I have the hot body, but because I work damn hard. I am doing my gym currently is trying out this 24-hour fitness. They're doing like this Modus new program they're doing. It's basically F45 or like cross training classes, but for a very affordable price. Like it's $50 a month for like CrossFit style classes, which you usually pay hundreds of dollars for. And I'm doing the trial this week. And I am extremely sore. Extremely sore. You don't know how painful it is to exist right now. But I think it was really, really, really awesome. So if, you go to 24-hour fitness or you have one around you, I think right now it's like $45 a month. But here's the thing. You don't need to do that. You don't need to go to the gym. You can do what I did yesterday. So yesterday, because life was chaotic, I could not find my clicker to my garage in the morning. So I couldn't get out. And I had all the reasons to not work out yesterday, to not do my miracle morning. I was like, what's the point? Like, I have all these problems going on, right? My husband's car got broken into. I was like, I got to call a tow truck. Like, I'm going to have to deal with this tomorrow because I'm the one in the house that makes the calls. Like, I'm going to have to skip work, and like, I don't even have to get ready for work. What's the point? I was so negative on myself, but like I said, I'm so content that I snapped out. I'm so happy with myself. But it was, so I came back home and I was like, okay, well, what do I have here? Work with what you have. I have a couple of kettlebells that I keep around. I have a 5, 10, and a 15 that I think I bought on Target. And I always have a workout mat here. And so like those 3 weights. And then worst case scenario, we have the Switch Fit. So in the Nintendo Switch, there's like this fit ring thing. And we have it. And I was like, worst case scenario, I work out with that. Like, make what you have work for you. Now, if you're able to see this video on YouTube, you're able to work out. And I'm telling you that right now. You're able to work out. Because that's what I did that day. I put on a YouTube video on my TV. It could have been on the phone. It could be wherever you are. If you're able to see this, you can work out. And I had my workout at home. And I'm actually really sore from my workout yesterday. So I'm really proud that I pushed through that. Now, I can only push through that because it's my priority right now. I don't think that people who are not ready to lose weight can lose weight. And, the controversy. But no, I honestly believe, because it wasn't like I didn't try to lose weight before 2018. I tried multiple times and I tried multiple things. I tried calorie control, calorie deficiency. I even tried keto. I tried fasting. I tried all those things beforehand. But I think that the reason why they didn't work out then is because they were not my priority. I was just like, oh, I guess people want me to lose weight. Do you know how many people kept telling me to lose weight? So many people. My mom specifically. You know how hard it is for your mom to tell you to lose weight? Really hard. Especially when she's 120 pounds and calling herself fat. Again, we all have our issues. But the reason why it worked out now is because it was my priority. And I think that if had not taken the VSG route, I would have never made it such a priority. Having gone in the gastric sleeve surgery raised the stakes for me. Why? I was spending my own money. I was putting myself under and actually risking my life to do this. So I knew that if I came out of that surgery, I wasn't going to half-ass it anymore. I was like, I really got to commit. And I really, really did. I lost over 100 pounds that first year. And I've kept my weight loss until this summer. Okay. And my weight gain was 30 pounds and I already lost half of it already. So thank God that I have this tool that allows me to lose the weight fast right back on once I get my shit together again. But it's a tool, okay? And it's not the easy way out. The way that body dysmorphia works, which is something that now I suffer from, I wake up days and I'm like, I'm 400 pounds again. And like, there's nothing that you can say or show me or tell me that won't say otherwise. Okay? That day, I'm just going to be 400 pounds and it's just going to be a bad day where everything's going to lead me like that. Which is very weird because I did not have those experiences before VSG. Like, I don't think I ever felt that way. But now I think I think that I've set different expectations on myself, that because I got the weight loss surgery that I should maintain my weight loss. And when I don't do it, then I punish myself for it. And because I discovered that I'm an emotional eater after surgery, this is very complicated. And I think this is also what aggravated my mental health issues, because now I actually have to face them. I noticed, I was like, why when I'm getting older, why all of a sudden, like, I'm not able to handle my emotions as well as I was? And the reason was because I was eating my emotions before. Now, since surgery 3 years ago, I've noticed that I have had to, I guess, face my mental health issues more in the face, my traumas more in the face, because I'm no longer able to eat them. I didn't realize I was eating them until I wasn't able to eat them. I don't know if that makes sense. But basically, I didn't realize I was an emotional eater until I couldn't eat my emotions. And then I realized, like, oh shit, I'm messed up and I really got to work on these things. And there's so much to unpack here. So that's what I'm working on now. Obviously, my mental health, my therapist, and things like that. I also had to think about, like, study about cross addiction. So initially, when I first got my surgery, I was shopping a lot because I couldn't eat, right? So transfer addiction is a very real thing. There's still hard days. There's still days where I'm like, I think that my surgery no longer works. I'm like, I totally stretched my stomach already. That's it. I'm going to be fat again. But in difference to that, I'm like, no, 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 no. You didn't come this far to just come this far. And so I know this episode has gotten everywhere, but it's just that there's so many little details, and we've briefly discussed all of these details. I mean, I can tell you about how I felt as a child when I was fat, how I went through my teens. We can have a whole series about this, and we can really dig into it, honestly. Like, I want to help you out. If you're a person who's overweight and doesn't feel confident in their body, I did it all while I was fat, okay? I dated, I traveled, I tried new experiences, I performed, I did all those things. I, seeked my own opportunities and didn't let me shut off. Did I have crazy experiences? Of course I did. There's always that kid who, like, just doesn't have a filter yet and will just point out how fat you are. I went through all of that. I cried. I'm not saying that it was easy. I'm not saying that, like, oh my God, I was so joyful being fat. Yay, me, fat me. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that for me, putting attention to that, again, was not a priority back then. Doesn't mean it didn't hurt me. I just didn't give it more than, like, a day, And I was like, what's wrong with them? And I knew that, I don't know, I'm trying to determine, and, like, maybe we can unravel this in another episode, but, like, I'm trying to determine why is it that my weight wasn't such a defining feature growing up for myself, the way that I viewed myself. I know it was a defining feature for everybody. Everybody could fucking tell me that it was a defining feature. It's like, oh my God, yeah, you're great, but it would be better if you lost some weight. Okay. Or, like my family calling me gordita. Gordita is like the Spanish term for fatty. Like I have so many issues. But anyways, I said I was going to wrap this up because if not, like I said, I could keep talking for hours about this and I could tell you all about it. So please, please, please sound off in the comments if you want to, hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, email. Please, please, please go watch the YouTube channel. If you're only listening to this on Spotify, you can see more pictures. Follow me there. I do post weekly vlogs as well on Saturday. And if you speak Spanish, I do have my Spanish podcast coming up real soon. If I didn't go crazy and I already released it, because as I am recording this episode, I am having all the thoughts about the Spanish one. It's going to be a different format. So I hope you're open to listen to that one as well. Well, anyways, guys, I hope you guys had a great time. Thank you for joining me again in another Millennial in Crisis podcast, and see you next Tuesday.